Robby, how much have you welcomed the opportunity to get a shot in the first team?
I've enjoyed it a lot, to be honest. It's been something I've been waiting for a while, and I knew when the gaffer came in it would come at some point, so it was just being ready for it and embracing it. I've always wanted to play at Rangers, and I've loved every second of each of the games I've played.
What did the manager say to you? Did he say that at the start? Listen, just bide your time, coming in the season you will get a crack?
He said I came in, I think he had a conversation with every player, and he said that there's going to be an opportunity to play. And fortunately I obviously was out for 2 months, and I could have maybe had it a bit sooner, but during that period I knew it was just getting back and it will come at some point. I've got a lot of trust and faith in the gaffer himself that he would stick to his word.
Wasn't your first Old Firm game, but how good did you feel after that one?
I enjoyed it. I think I had all my family in that there, and I don't know if they were more nervous than what I was. I felt fine. It was important for us, I think, more than to win that game and perform well. Just like given the circumstances of the league, I know it doesn't do much, but building momentum going forward, it's obviously it takes a lot of confidence for that.
How do you view this position now with Alan going?
Well, obviously I think it's wide open now. I think the gaffer said that somebody will be coming in this summer, and I think it's an opportunity. It's there. It's there, and it's just obviously myself. I just want to work hard and do everything I can to be ready for the moment and put myself forward as well.
Do you believe that?
What kind of influence has Alan been on you?
I think even more so in recent weeks, I've realised it more than anything. I think Giggsy in my lifetime's been the best keeper I've ever seen at Rangers. Even for a personal point of view, going forward, just as a mate and looking for advice, I think he's always got to be there for me. And there's not been MD better in terms of setting the standard. And the thing for me now is to I obviously want to follow in them footsteps.
Has he left you any one piece of advice in particular?
No, see, the thing is, I don't actually think we talked. See, for me personally, doesn't matter who I'm with, what keeper, if it's here, the national team. I just like to watch people, so I do. So it's not even so much like having a conversation in terms of advice. It's just watch how you prepare for big games, how you deal with the highs and lows. And as I said, I personally don't think I could have learned off the MD better. Given the size and the pressures of this club, I think it will keep me in good stead going forward.
You said the manager's bringing another keeper in next season. Do you fear that gives him one up in terms of the start for a starting place?
Nah. Again, for me, the main thing, even the past couple of weeks, was concentrating, being in the present, being in the moment, try to do well and give a good account of myself. All I can do is work as hard as I can, and I think in football in general, opportunity is everything, and I hope I can get the opportunity. Then it's up to me.
Do you believe that you could be Rangers well next season, Robby?
I think I wouldn't be here. See, even just myself, any player, I think that's the mentality I think you need to have at the club. Every day should be pushing to be starting and wanting to do well for the cause, obviously.
Do you look at Alan McGregor and say he was a similar age when he started getting that run in the first team at Rangers, and this is your time, you've done your time on loan, you've played in a League Cup final, but this is now where you have to kick on?
Nah, I think so. I think there's a lot of similar. Alec is there. I think I've been in loan similar age to him. I've been for League 2, League 1, right through. And it's now just trying to establish myself. It's just, as I said to it, I hope the opportunity is there, and that I'll do everything I can to make the most of it.
you can see a pathway now, but does that mean a mentality switch as well from waiting for your chance to now making sure you stay where you are and keep that number one spot?
Possibly, but I think like even just coming through the academy, it was always, when I was young, I was 8 when I joined the club, and it was always who's got to be the next Alan McGregor. And it was like for me, it was like I've always like I wanted to try and give myself the best opportunity to be that. So there's obviously more pressures that come with it, but I've been in the club long enough, and I just want to embrace every second. I actually don't see it as a pressure like playing for Rangers. I think it's a privilege. I'd much rather be at a club at this size that's got to try and win things than anywhere else.
Steve Clarke has had you in the Scotland squad as well. Do you think if you can get this number one role with Rangers that you'll get more opportunities in the Scotland squad?
Again, I think like it's so important not to look too far ahead, but I can't deny that obviously I've been involved in like youth age groups with Scotland, and it's a big ambition of mine to be involved going forward. Steve Clarke, Chris Woods, I feel as if I've got a good relationship with them, and I think regardless what happens there, if I concentrate in Rangers and perform well for Rangers, I think what that carries itself will only put me in good stead going forward in the international setup.
Do you think there's a next generation of young Scottish goalkeepers coming through when you see McGregor coming to an end? You've got Craig Gordon who's in his 40s, David Marshall's in his late 30s.
Yeah, I think, see, it's strange because I think even when they first came through, that was the question back then. So it's always like who's got to be next, and it's now at that point now, and a lot of people might look at it and say there's no many, but I see just an opportunity. Like, why not try and, like myself, be the next one? I think then hopefully in maybe 20 years time the same question will come up again. So it's obviously the names I've just mentioned there, like their careers speak for themselves, the success they've had. I think they've set the standards, and you have your own personal standards, but it's just, again, it's why not, who you want to be the one that's next.
Robby, when you were struggling 4 minutes, did you ever consider leaving, whether that be permanently or out on loan again for more game time?
I would be lying like if I said the last year and a half it's been probably difficult in terms of that. I've looked at the loans, but I think with the club being in Europe, obviously the circumstances, like the big thing for here is you have 3 first team goalkeepers, and in the position I'm at, I think you need, even if you're third or second, you need to have the mindset of being the number one. So game time's obviously like been limited for myself, but I always knew like there's got to be a point where it will come, and it was just being ready for that. But I suppose during that time you do get your doubts because you think, is it got to come, is it not? But I'm in the moment right now, and I've had these games, and hopefully there's a lot more to come.
I remember a few years ago your brother Ross actually had the chance to play in goals. Did he give you any stick for that he got?
No, I've been trying to get away from this, so I was in the stand actually watching that at the time. Didn't have a clue what Griggsy obviously came off, didn't have a clue what was happening, but I think that's never got to get away from me, to be honest. So I've played more in goals at Rangers now than I'm now, so nah. I think that one's a stick on for us.